Ladies and gentlemen, I have the time is 7:30. I will call the public hearing of and regular business meeting of the Mayor and Council of the City of Snellville to order. At this time, I would ask Bobby Howard to come forward and give us the invocation.
Let us pray. Lord, gracious Heavenly Father, we come before you tonight as just a group of citizens and servant leaders that are here to serve our community and serve the citizens of Snellville. We continue to ask for your grace, your blessings, and your coverage of protection as we move through the night and we move through the rest of the day. It is without saying that you are and have always been the place we go for comfort. We continue to look for those blessings. We continue to realize that we're not deserving of most of those blessings. But tonight, let us all come together as citizens of this fine city, be respectful of one another, encourage one another, and ultimately serve one another. In your Son's precious and heavenly Father's name we pray. Amen.
Thank you, Mr. Howard. And at this time, I would ask David Emanuel to lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance. Thank you very much. We have no ceremonial matters, and so we will move on to the approval of the minutes for the June 12th, 2023 meetings. Do I have a motion?
Motion to approve the minutes of the June 12th, 2023 meetings.
I have a motion. Is there a second?
Second.
Have a motion and a second. All in favor? Raise your hand. No? Okay. Okay, so that's there's four of us, right? 4 are in favor and 1 abstention as she was not in attendance. Moving right along, those of y'all who picked up an agenda, I apologize. We do have an invited guest. We have the esteemed principal of Britt Elementary School, Melissa Madsen. She's going to come forward and entertain us for a while.
Got my reading book. Well, good morning. I always say good morning because that's what we do on the morning announcements. Those of you who are in education know that that's what we lean on a lot. But good evening. And my name is Melissa Madsen. I am the proud principal at Britt Elementary School, and thank you so much for inviting me to be here. Several of you I emailed earlier in this year requesting some help. As you guys know, Britt Elementary School this is its 55th year of educating students here in the city. We separated from the consolidated schools in 1969, and we've done a lot of growing. You may have remembered when it was a very large school with lots and lots of trailers, and we've done some shrinking. We are currently the smallest school in Gwinnett County Public Schools. But that doesn't mean that we don't work really hard with our students, and we have been very, very fortunate that Gwinnett has given us a lot. You may have heard of a lot of our safety improvements that we have been doing, and we are very blessed to have a very safe location, from the fences around our schools to our key card locks to our cameras. So it's a great, great place to be a student. But something that we are lacking in is our recess field. We have an amazing recess field. It is huge, and it is a great place to run and play. But unfortunately, a lot of our recess field improvements were done when our school was a little bit wealthier. We are now 80% free and reduced lunch, and a lot of our parents don't have that extra money to give to our school to build recess field improvements, but we're really trying to improve our field. So I shared some information with you on, I shared some pictures of our recess field. You can see that it is wonderful, glorious, and large, but you can also see that it needs some help. You may notice that while we have blacktops where a lot of people in our community play, even after school, a couple of Fridays ago when I was leaving, I noticed a parent that was arriving to teach their child how to ride a bike on our track and recess field. All of these were put in by our PTA, but they're starting to crack. Some of our basketball equipment is damaged, and we don't have a lot of recess equipment. But recess is a place where kids really get a lot. They learn how to play with each other. They learn turn taking. They learn how to settle arguments, like who's first on the slide. And they also learn to count, because you get to swing 100 times and then you have to get off the swings. I mean, that is something that we really do. So I came to ask if you have, and I'm sure you do, all have all this extra money. But as we're getting to the end of COVID and funds, if you have something extra that you could give, we're working with an engineer to help find things we can put on our recess field, whether it's sensory equipment to help our students who have sensory needs, or if it's just extra play equipment that students can use. And if you've ever looked at it, play equipment is really, and I'm sure you probably have because we have Briscoe Park, play equipment is super expensive. But the nice thing is it lasts a long, long time. It leaves a mark, and it really helps kids really become different folks and really learn those skills and figure it out and practice those social emotional skills that we want them to have, as well as maybe get a little bit healthier by climbing and playing. So I just came to ask. We've recently applied for several grants, and we are going to continue to do that to help our recess field, and I was hoping you could help us as well.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Does anybody have any questions for the principal while you have her in the hot seat? No? You're safe to go.
All right. Thank you so much for letting me come.
Thank you very much. Okay, next on our agenda would be committee and department reports, and y'all all are lucky we don't have any tonight. So we'll move along to the approval of the agenda. Do I have a motion for the approval of the agenda?
Motion to approve tonight's agenda with the two following additions. Under new business, we're gonna go ahead and add in item C, which will be consideration and action and the extension of a moratorium on CBD stores. And we're also going to add item D under new business, consideration and action on the moratorium on medical marijuana dispensaries.
I have a motion. Is there a second?
Second.
I heard Mr. Stang. Having a motion and a second. All in favor? None opposed. That's 5-0. Next item on our agenda is the beginning of the public hearing. So this is the time of year where we not only pass a budget, but we, in order to fund that budget, have to set a millage rate. So our illustrious tax commissioner, who's with us here tonight, can well, actually, I guess we do that ourselves now, don't we? We'll go ahead and be able to send out property tax bills. So at this time, I'll open the floor for any public comment to provide citizens the opportunity to submit written and oral comments on the proposed 2023 millage rate. Just to let you know, if you come forward, you'll be the first. And the crowd rushed forward. Seeing no one coming forward, I will close that section of the public hearing and move on to item B, which is a first read of a zoning that's coming forth. That is RZ 23-03 and SUP 23-02, the consideration and recommendation on applications by Split Silk Properties LLC, who's the applicant, representing High Point Development, who is the contract purchaser, and the Kroger Company, who currently owns the property, requesting to amend the official zoning map of Snellville from BG, General Business District, to MU, Mixed Use District. The special use permit and variances from the Unified Development Ordinance for a mixed-use development consisting of 300 stacked flat units, 28 single-family residential townhomes, and 51,000 square feet of commercial retail buildings on a 22.85 acre site located at the intersection of Highway 78, Athens Highway, and Rosebud Road. The official address is 1000 Highway 78, Snellville, Georgia, and the tax parcel is 5100065. So I will entertain a motion to waive the first reading and place the aforementioned on our July 24th, 2023 agenda for a second read public hearing.
Motion to waive the first reading of RZ 23-03 and place it on the agenda for the July 24th meeting for a second reading and public hearing. Oh, do we do that both at the same time? Oh, and add to that the SUP 23-02.
Thank you very much. I have a motion. Is there a second?
Second.
Having a motion and a second, all in favor, raise your right hand or whatever hand you want to raise. That's 5-0. Next item on our agenda is, again, a first reading of a zoning. This is residential zoning. It is RZ 23-04, consideration and recommendation on an application by B.J. B.H. Johnson and B.J. Longnecker and L.J. Yates. They must have very long names. They're the property owners, and they're requesting to amend the official zoning map from RS 30, single-family residential district, to RS 15, single-family residential district, to subdivide the existing 1.044 acre plus or minus undeveloped property into 2 lots, actual address being 2625 Beverly Lane, Snellville, Georgia, and tax parcel 5027001B. I would entertain a motion to waive the first reading and place this on our July 24th, 2023 regular meeting agenda, public hearing agenda for a second reading.
Motion to waive the first reading on RZ 2304, place it on the agenda of the July 24th meeting for a second read.
Having a motion, do I have a second?
Second.
Thank you very much. All in favor, raise whatever hand you desire. That is 5 in favor, 0 opposed. We have no items on our consent agenda tonight and nothing on our old business. So we will move on to the section of new business on our agenda. And the first item is consideration and action on approval of a contract for the construction of the market at the Grove. This is on our agenda, but we actually took action on this at our last public meeting, and it had to come back because the Downtown Development Authority had to approve the contract. I'm glad to let y'all know that they had, and the city attorney tells me that we actually do not need a motion or any action on this, as it had already been acted on by the city council at the last meeting. It was there as a placeholder in case the DDA decided they wanted to change anything. So that takes us to item B, consideration and action on approval of a workplace wellness policy. And I will turn this over to our esteemed city manager, Butch Sanders. Almost forgot your name.
Workplace wellness and the well-being of our employees are very important to us. And having a policy like this just emphasizes how serious we are about it. Over the years, we've had several events, health fairs, different types of checks and education meetings for our employees, but we've really never asked the mayor and council to adopt a policy. So this policy will be put in place with your agreement tonight, and it also enables us to be in a little stronger position when we apply for grants, for wellness grants through our insurance organization and other outside organizations. So I appreciate Gabriella Downs, our HR director, works very hard at this, and I think our employees appreciate it. So I would ask for your approval tonight.
And just to further point out that Gabby Downs, who is our HR person, has stepped forward, and she will have a new title to go along with her other title. She will be our Health Promotion Champion, and she will head the Well-Being Committee, and I know she will do an excellent job. So I will entertain a motion to adopt the workplace wellness policy.
Motion to adopt the workplace wellness policy as described by the Mayor Pro Tem.
Oh, you're in trouble then. Have a motion. May I have a second?
Second.
Having a motion and a second, I will ask for a vote. All in approval, raise a hand. That's 5 in favor and 0 opposed. Wow. Someone's going to be jealous that I'm going to get us out of here this quick. The next 2 items are items that have been added to our agenda tonight at the behest of our city attorney. You want to the first is item C, which it would be resolution 2023-010, resolution to provide an extension of time to study the changes necessary to the Unified Development Ordinance of the City of Snellville related to the regulation of CBD stores. Would you like to opine as to what that means?
Yes, back in, I believe, January, we put in a 6-month moratorium on CBD stores so that staff and mayor and council could review it as it relates to the Unified Development Code. We are asking or recommending that it be extended another 6 months to January 23rd of 2024.
Okay, just for those following along at home, we are in the process of updating both our land use plan, our comprehensive plan, which is now called, and our UDO. And so this will actually allow us to put all of that together and process it at the same time, rather than doing it piecemeal and having to catch up. So it will be part of the public hearings going forward as we update our UDO and our comprehensive plan. That being said, do I have a motion?
Motion to approve Resolution 2023-10 to extend the moratorium on CBD stores until January 23rd, 2024.
Thank you very much. Having a motion, do I have a second?
Second.
Having a motion and a second, I will entertain a vote. All in favor, raise a hand. Seeing 5 for, none opposed, the motion passes. And next on our agenda is item D, which is resolution 2023-11, a resolution to provide for a study regarding the changes necessary to the Unified Development Ordinance of the City of Snellville related to the regulation of medical cannabis dispensaries. And again, I will turn to our esteemed city attorney for clarification.
As some of you may know, recently Georgia passed a medical marijuana bill. They have started issuing licenses as of, I believe, May of this year. There are 2 in the state that are operating. The city has gotten at least one inquiry that I know of someone interested, and it's very state regulated and strict on where you can put these, and the city just wants time to see where those are best suited for the city if one comes calling. And so our recommendation is to, again, put a 6-month moratorium on these to January 10th of 2024.
And again, just for clarification, that allows us to put that part of changes to zoning into our comprehensive plan and our unified development ordinance as we go forward with the process this fall, which hopefully will simplify things. That being said, I will entertain a motion.
Motion to approve Resolution 2023-11, moratorium on medical marijuana dispensaries through January 10th, 2024.
Having a motion, I will entertain a second.
Second.
Having a motion and a second, I will ask for a vote. All in favor, raise a hand. Seeing 5 in approval and none opposed. Okay, so that takes us through our regular business portion of the meeting, which means it comes to everybody's favorite part of the meeting, council reports. And tonight we will start with Councilwoman DeStang.
Thank you. Erica, can you please do it in the slide? Just go ahead and slide it. I appreciate it. Hello, everyone. It's always so good to see so many familiar faces tonight. Hope every one of you have been doing well because I didn't see you in close to a month. I want to share with you how our second annual Juneteenth celebration went this past Father's Day on June 18th on the town green. The Juneteenth celebration was a huge success. We had a lot of people support this continued historic celebration in Snellville. There was so much to do, so many merchandise to buy, and other things to participate in. Let me also quickly add that I received both a resolution and a proclamation on this day. The state resolution came from our state representative, Shelley Hutchinson. The county proclamation came from our chairwoman, Board of Commissioners of Gwinnett County, Nicole Love Henderson. I was very surprised to receive these two distinguished recognitions in honor of implementing the first and second Juneteenth celebration in Snellville. However, I could have never pulled off this great event without the support and implementation of the organization called the Family Gwinnett, where Ann Lavavore is the CEO. And I'm going to ask Ann to stand up for a second. She likes to hide in the back. Thank you, Ann. Ann Lavavore took care of the day-to-day operations for me. So kudos to Ann Lavavore and the entire committee for the endless hours of work to make this a huge success. I want to also thank all of the constituents who came out, and a lot of you came out and supported us by celebrating our great Black fathers on Father's Day. Always remember to continue to honor the past, celebrate the present, and continue to build a better future together. And on this note, I want to thank you all for coming out tonight. Get home safe and stay blessed. See you again in 2 weeks. Take care.
Thank you, Ms. DeStang. And next we will hear from Councilwoman Christy Linsky.
One of the highlights of June for all of us on council is definitely attending the Georgia Municipal Association annual conference. This is an opportunity for all of us to take a deep breath and go to learn some new things about what some other cities are doing. Maybe some advantages, disadvantages of looking at implementing those programs. What is it that we can take from that and bring back here to Snellville? I was able to attend some really incredibly relevant classes, the topics. For example, one of the courses was Housing Solutions for Cities. This addressed the problem that we have, not just in Snellville, but many cities throughout Georgia and many other states, of affordability in housing. We toured several different sites, and one of the ideas that we really want to try and bring back here to Snellville is the possibility of implementing a program for homeless veterans. They called it a tiny homes project, and just walking through that community, what it offered to our veterans, just an incredible sense of dignity. And this community, I think, is something that we really want to bring in to Snellville. I think we would be the first in Gwinnett County to really address this issue as a city. So one of the other classes that I was able to attend, the strengthening of well-being of children and youth. As everyone knows, children and youth, very near and dear to my heart. One of the things that I think we want to bring back to the city for our Snellville Youth Commission and maybe expand it a little bit is to utilize the Fanning Institute for Youth Leadership curriculum that's out of the University of Georgia, Carl Vinson Institute. So I'm looking forward to implementing that and sitting down with my advisors for Youth Commission. I also attended a class on human trafficking. And the awareness factor is, I think, the major thing that we want to bring back here to Snellville, especially with our young people, once again, because the #1 recruitment tool regarding human trafficking is social media. And that social media awareness is critical. We have to really think about how we utilize that and to help our young people evaluate that in their own lives. And I was also in that particular course able to share with many other cities our current city regulations that we have on short-term rentals. And that in particular has been the areas targeted by human trafficking. And generally a great opportunity to network with city leaders all over Georgia. Look forward to it again every year. Kelly McAloon and all of the individuals who were associated with our July 4th Star-Spangled celebration, if you attended the celebration, if you volunteered, if you stopped by quickly for the fireworks or looked maybe from blocks away, please stand. This was an amazing event. Experience Snellville, you outdid yourself once again, and thousands of people really had the opportunity to come together as a community in this particular event. It was so well attended. The diversity in our community was so evident. As I looked around the town green, the vendors were incredibly diverse. As you looked at the types of food, I could get Italian food, I could get Cuban food, I could get Jamaican food, I could go down a little bit and get barbecue. Now, I did not actually eat at all of those places, just to clarify, but just there was something for everyone at this particular event. So Kelly, thank you. You worked so hard and it really showed. One last thing. And one last thing I wanted to mention, South Gwinnett High School is getting a new principal this year, Principal Rodney Jordan, and we'll be holding a meet and greet on Wednesday, July 19th at 7 p.m. in the South Gwinnett Commons or cafeteria area. So if you have a chance, come stop by. Thank you.
Well, thank you very much, Ms. Linsky. And next we will hear from my esteemed colleague, Gretchen Schultz. Well, the Honorable Gretchen Schultz. Is that better?
The honorably esteemed Gretchen Schultz.
You didn't want me to just say old.
Okay. All right, on that note, I'll tell you a little bit about my experience at the Georgia Municipal Association conference also. It's always, as Ms. Linsky said, it's such a great learning opportunity. One of the classes I took was called Steering Through the Storm. And I was drawn to that course because some of you may know that that our daughter is an assistant city manager in North Carolina. And some of you may recall last winter, the town where she lives, their power grid was shot up by someone. And they had to very quickly assemble a group to lead their whole community through this time when they had no power. People didn't have heat in their homes. They didn't have electricity to power cell phones or whatever. They it was, of course, difficult for people to cook a meal or whatever. And I saw what she went through with this and how that community had to organize themselves very, very quickly to ensure that the people in the community stayed as warm as possible, had food, that emergency services were available. And so I went to this class because I was just very interested in what we might need to do here in Snellville to prepare for the possibility that something of that nature might ever happen here. I certainly hope it would never happen, but you never know. And so Mayor Bender was also in this class with me, and one of the things we both came away with was the idea that we wanted to do what they called tabletop exercises. And that's where we would have some of the major department heads, such as our police chief, our public works director, our city manager, all those people that would really be involved should we have some kind of emergency like that. And so Mayor Bender and I both felt that it would be worthwhile in the future to look at doing what they called in this class a tabletop exercise, just to talk about and come up with a written plan so that we could put a plan into action should we ever have to do so. I hope we don't, but it's always good to be prepared for that kind of event. So that was an all-day class. That was a 6-hour class on Friday of the conference, so I was there all day. I also attended the same class that Ms. Lenski attended on strengthening the well-being of children and youth. And of course they emphasized in that it's important to have a family approach to prevention of issues with children as opposed to a crisis-driven approach. So I'll just add that to what she's already said. The other thing, they have an exhibit hall at this conference that is absolutely amazing. I mean, exhibitors from every aspect of needs that a city might have. And we were tasked by our city manager to look at, our esteemed city manager, to look at Christmas decorations, because we feel like some of ours are starting to get a little age on them and could use a little sprucing up. So we came back with lots of information, and tonight in our work session we formed a Christmas decoration committee, and I believe Ms. Lenski, Mr. Stang, and I are serving on the Christmas decoration committee. So if you have any thoughts, let us know, but we'll be looking into that, and did find some excellent information at the conference on that. The one other thing I wanted to tell you was that, and I know I say this every meeting, but our farmers market has been unbelievable this summer, the crowds, the attendance. And if you had told me 10 years ago that we were going to need to purchase stanchions, those are those they're like poles that have that belt that extends out. If you'd have told me we were going to need to purchase those to control the lines at our produce vendor, I would have thought, you got to be kidding me. We'll never get that big. Well, this past Saturday, we had stanchions and the belts in place to help control the lines at our produce vendor because they have just gotten so long. So I just thought that was worth a mention. That unbelievable, really. Thank you so much, and we're so glad to see you all tonight.
Thank you very much, and we will now hear with the sometimes esteemed Councilman Emanuel.
Thank you, esteemed Mayor Pro Tem. I'd like to echo what my colleagues have said. I think I've been to 11 GMA conventions and have attended a number of classes, and what amazes me is every class I've been in has been excellent. And there's always something to take back and implement, and I think it's vital for council members to attend these classes, and also the interface you get with other council members, because you can learn a lot of things from council members in other cities. And sometimes we all have the same problems, sometimes we all have unique problems, but it's always good to get a perspective on what other cities are doing, how they're accomplishing things. And again, the classes have just been unbelievably good. I remember, I think there was one about taxation, and I thought, well, I wish I had some no-dos. But they always make it interesting, and all the instructors do an excellent job. So unfortunately, this will be my last one. But I've learned a lot, and I would encourage anybody on council to attend, because there is so much good information to be achieved. And the exhibit hall, again, was interesting. You get to see all kinds of things that you may not have any interest in, but it sparks an idea. So you have a lot of good information is available, and as we've been noticed that we got some good information on Christmas decorations, so we may see more than snowflakes next year. Thank you all for attending, and have a safe ride home.
Thank you very much, and that moves to, I guess tonight it's the Mayor Pro Tem's report, and I apologize in advance. I referred to the people on the dais as esteemed because I hold them in the highest regard. And it's rare that I tell them that because, well, we have business to do, and we treat each other as equals, as friends, as fellow council members, and I typically don't let them know how much I treasure each and every one of them. So that is why I called them esteemed. That even includes our city manager most of the time. Again, most of the time. The convention down in Savannah is a whole lot more than whining and dining and getting to spend time with friends. It really is building a network of other elected officials and public servants throughout the state, because we often run into problems that we think are individual to the city of Snellville, and we grapple with how to solve those problems, and we have sleepless nights, and we have discussions, and surprisingly, a lot of other cities have already had that problem, and they have, it may not be the perfect solution, it may not be the perfect solution for Snellville, but they've found a way forward. So by going down there and, yes, taking the courses, I took some great courses. I was in a course with Ms. Linsky about the housing. Fabulous, absolutely amazing program, number of programs, but particularly to take care of our homeless veterans, where within 24 hours of finding someone, they have them housed, and they worry about how to take care of the money and everything else later, because if a veteran is homeless and they don't have an address, they have a very, very hard time getting their pay, getting any kind of services. And these are people who put their lives on the line for us in ways that hopefully we will never know. I know some members of the crowd actually do know because I know they served. But I've never met a happier, more gracious group of people. Here you had a busload of these highfalutin elected officials show up, and all of a sudden the guys are pouring out, and I think they may have enjoyed us as much or more than we enjoyed them. And the pride that they showed in their little bitty houses that many of us would say, oh, I'd never stay in that. They were nice homes, and they were proud of them, and they were a community. And they were a community that I would love to be a part of or to have join us. So maybe we'll be able to pull off that. I also took a class with the mayor on Saturday that was new and emerging technologies. We went in there thinking, wow, we're gonna, all the shiny stuff, all the exciting stuff, we were gonna come back with maybe drones or neat cameras, or we spent a lot of time talking about ChatGPT and its effect on cybersecurity. And I would have never in my life thought that that was something that I was going to have to deal with. But as a city official, it's extremely important because it affects how we provide you service. It affects the safety of your information. And it was an excellent course. That's actually an understatement. And then went to a number of meetings that are drop-in sessions where we talk about funding the arts and a number of other things. You can fill your days with as much information as you can stand. And then my final day, I took a course on legislative updates, learning what all those wonderful friends of ours up at the state capitol have been doing to us, and how to hopefully make sure that we protect your rights going forward, because there's nothing more important. But I can't thank you enough as our citizens for allowing me to serve, and my fellow members for giving me the honor of being Mayor Pro Tem and running this meeting. We do have a couple of things coming up that may be of interest to you. If you live over in the Pinehurst corridor, North Road, there will be I got a letter today from Gwinnett Department of Water Resources. They're going to be doing an upgrade on a water line over off of Pinehurst, and they're having a public meeting here on Tuesday, July 25th in the community room at 6 p.m. that will go over exactly what the project's going to do. The great thing about that project is it segues into our being able to install the sidewalks down Pinehurst. So we will have sidewalks that run all the way from North Road all the way down to the intersection of Ridgedale and Pinehurst, which actually will allow foot traffic from a great deal of our neighborhoods to get all the way down to town center if they so choose on a sidewalk. Can't tell you how many times I've seen people pushing their bikes or their baby strollers up the side of Pinehurst Road. It is not a pretty picture. So look forward to that meeting on the 25th. Also on July 25th, we are going to have a business after hours, which I'm sure someone will talk about at some point, for the grand opening of Thrive, our new co-working space, which is the top floor of our soon-to-be award-winning public library. I can't wait for you all to see it. You are going to be amazed. So the evening, also July 25th, Tuesday, July 25th, we will from 6 to 8 have a business after hours run by STAT at the Thrive co-working space. Have your eyes open for more information on that. It's going to be off the chain, I think I heard. When you see that space, you will be so proud that it is here in your city. I guarantee you. And with that, I will shut up for as long as humanly possible, and we will enter probably your favorite portion of the meeting, which is public comment. We do have a 5-minute limit. We do ask you to stick to one topic because I have a short memory and it's hard for me to keep track of what you're saying if you go on to 12 different things. But if you'd like to speak, you have 5 minutes. There's a timer up there. Please come forward. We only have one person signed up, so I'm not going to call him out because I know he'll have plenty of time. Come on up. Please state your name and your address of residence.
Kelly McAloon, 2916 Overwood Lane in Snellville. Good evening, Mayor and Council, and I want to thank you, Council Member Linsky, for recognizing really the intensive labor we put into that event. The Star Spangled Snellville event is a very, very labor-intensive event. It's not just the day of, it's the week before, but the day before. We had the Snellville Performing Arts came out. I think Pastor Collins has left. I don't know, is he still here? No, he's gone. But he came out and helped. Parkside Church came out and helped. The SYC kids came out and helped. Our volunteers. Jessica, I know my assistant, she's here in the back, and I appreciate her efforts. But it's just really a collaboration of everybody. Public Works, they set the city up, they set the stage, they work with us and the police department. Police department did an amazing job. You guys cleared the city in like 30 minutes. I heard it was record time. So, I mean, it's just really such a team effort of everybody to pull this event off, to be such a huge event that really impacts the entire city, not just this space here, but everywhere. So we hope everybody enjoyed it. In our fireworks, we had new fireworks this year. We had some smiley faces, some hearts, some rings, if anybody noticed. It was pretty awesome. So, and we did have the rain too, but we, muddled through the rain, and then we had the food truck Friday on Friday and muddled through some more rain and made a mess out of the green. But anyway, it's all good at the end of the day. And just to the business after hours, I just want to say, yes, it is going to be on the 25th from 6 to 8, and I'm hoping to have some marketing information out on that in the next 48 hours. So with that, thank you so much, and thank you, everybody, for what you do, and thank you for going to the conference and learning and bringing back all that information to share with all the citizens of Snellville.
Thank you. Is there anyone else?
Mayor
that
Pro
would like
Tem, could I add one piece of information to Kelly's comment? The esteemed Melvin Everson told me that the last volunteers did not leave on July 4th until July 5th, 1:30 a.m. We thank you.
Yes, as a citizen of Snellville, it's been an exciting time for the Juneteenth. Thank you, Ms. Stang. I attended it, helped with the cleanup afterwards, and it was very nice. So thank you for bringing that to Snellville.
Tricia, I know it's silly, but could you tell us your name and address for the record?
Barbara tells me you don't have to say it, so.
Okay, well.
Yeah. I think she knows it. 2088 Harbor Oaks Drive. Thank you, Kelly, Stat, Captain Tainer, and the police department, and the sponsors of the fireworks. They were terrific. We appreciate that SNAP was called in to guard the cemetery. We had 5 people show up. We had 1 that had to go out of town, so we would have had 6. It would have been nice to have 7 to 8 members in there because we had a lot of people trying to come in. We had people leaning up against Mr. Sawyer's mausoleum, and people that didn't understand why they couldn't come sit in the grave sites. Some of those graves are sinking, so it is treacherous at times to be in there. as far as I know, we did not have any damage done, and I appreciate the members, Barry Wiggs, Betty Kuhlman, who's here, Ms. Kuhlman, and Lee Schlachter, and Elizabeth Cook. They were excellent in helping to escort people through the cemetery and with good spirits. And I'm glad that the city council went to a class on the veterans and doing something with them. I would ask that you also look into another class on homelessness in general, because last night I counted 9 people laying all over Snellville, and that's on the north side. But we have homeless. Maybe 5 of those are not veterans. So if we could also keep those in mind too. Thank you.
Thank you very much. And thank you, Tricia, for protecting our historic cemetery. I really appreciate it. This was the first year that we weren't pelted by fireworks from over there. Would anyone else like to come forward and speak? Norman, let the lady come first. Please come forward and state your name and address for the record.
Sure. Good evening, Mayor Pro Tem and council members. My name is Denise Mitchell. I live in 2998 Wilson Place here in Snellville, and I'm your Gwinnett County Tax Commissioner. I just wanted to take an opportunity to introduce myself and just give you a little bit of information about what I do. And I've been in the I've been serving as Gwinnett County Tax Commissioner since May of 2022. And prior to that, I've been in the office for 25 years. As tax commissioner, we bill property taxes. We bill, collect, and disperse all of the property taxes. We have, I also act as an agent for the state of Georgia, and what that means is I collect motor vehicle, we do titles and registrations and so forth. Recently, we were able to put in a new kiosk in the Publix that's down in Centerville. It's our 10th kiosk, and we have several in the county, as well as 5 tag offices. As tax commissioner, I'm also here and available to assist anyone if you have any questions about homestead exemptions. We also have the new HTRG, Homeowners Tax Relief Credit, that the governor will be issuing as part of this year's tax bill that will go on as a credit for this year. So anybody that has a homestead exemption, that's part of the tax credit that you'll see on your tax bill. Ultimately, if there's any questions or if you need any assistance or anything that our office can do, please don't hesitate to reach out to our office. We'll be happy to assist in any way possible. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Is there anyone else who would like to come forward? I guess it's your turn then.
Good evening, Mayor Pro Tem and esteemed members of council. I like that. I'd like to talk about the farmers market. I'm sorry. Norman A. Carter Jr., 2777 Nathaniel Way in Grayson, Georgia. Wow, get nervous up here. I'd like to talk about the farmers market. Not because of the good food and the good people there, but how the farmers market encapsulates what my vision is of Snellville. If you can't go in there without seeing, quote unquote, diversity. You can't go in there without seeing quality. And what I mean by quality, I had a chance to sit with the esteemed councilperson Gretchen on Saturday, and just to see that as crowded and as many people were there were still vendors trying to get in there, and they're coming in. And that's great to see, because people are seeing value in Snellville. So I just want to thank those people who support and organize the Farmers Committee, the Farmers Market for the great job that you're doing. The stanchions are really necessary. We could use more parking. And, but it's great, and again, I hear so much about diversity. And if you don't understand what diversity is, all you need to do is come to Snellville's Farmers Market or the Food Truck Friday. Thank you.
Thank you very much. And for the record, Mr. Carter had signed up, so I did have his name and address for the record. Is there anybody else before we all stop and go to dinner? All right, come forward and give us your name and address for the record, please.
Hello, everyone. My name is Kat Hardrick, 2280 Buckley Trail, Snellville, the city of Snellville, right? That's right, the esteem, right? So thank you, council members and Mayor Pro Tem, for this evening and attending your meetings and learning all the skills that you need to have. I appreciate that because that's very important to broaden your knowledge so that you can serve the people who you really work for, which are the citizens of Snellville. So thank you for that. I also want to say thank you. We had a really nice 4th of July. It was all really great and all that good stuff. But I also want to thank Councilwoman Solange Disdain for, in 100 years, we have celebrated 2 Juneteenths. So thank you for that so very much. And I would love to see all of the support that we give July 4th to Juneteenth. Because as we say, we are diverse, we are a community, and we need to get that support. And I don't know if you can correct me if I'm wrong, it just seems like this is an individual event versus a Snellville event. And I've lived in Snellville for over 23 years, and I'm proud to have Juneteenth, right? So I would love for, is it the Snellville, who does the 4th of July? What's it called? Star-Spangled Snellville. But your organization is the Experience Snellville. I always forget that. So Experience Snellville to come and get everybody, the police department, all the different entities that make up the 4th of July, we should have that partnership behind Ms. Ann Lafafor and our councilwoman and so forth, because it was a great, it is constantly getting better and better, just like how you witnessed the farmers market growing over that amount of time, right? So we would love to see the Juneteenth have that same support, that same energy, that same love, because together we all make the fabric of Snellville. So I do have homelessness. Y'all know that's what my thing. Homelessness, human trafficking. So thank y'all for looking into that, because working with Trisha, there was a gentleman who was right here, literally in the parking lot of City Hall, that we tried to help get resources for. So thank you for making that a priority, because we see, I see when I'm running from the LA Fitness to the new Chick-fil-A at 5 o'clock in the morning, twice a week, you see individuals who are residentially displaced. So I love that we're going to champion that and work together to make that a non-issue in Snellville. Same thing with human trafficking. I volunteer with Wellspring Living. We help give resources to survivors of human trafficking, so it's very important. There's a mother that I know, her daughter was Grayson High School. I'm pointing to you because you said you lived in Grayson, but Grayson High School, their child was coaxed. You know, she ran away, she came back, groomed. They were grooming her, that's the word. They groomed her, you know, and now she's in that horrible situation. So please, please take really, you know, homelessness, that human trafficking is so very important. And then the last thing I want to say, the millage rate, can we, this is not going to be the only time we talk about the millage rate. So can we please let the citizens know a little bit about what the millage rate is, how it impacts the citizens, and why it's important for the citizens to come and give that feedback to you, and let them know that today is not the only day that they can have written and oral comment towards that. So that's it. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Okay, is there anybody else? Is there anybody who hasn't spoken yet and wants to have their turn? I don't see anybody getting up, so with that, I will entertain a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
Have a motion, do I have a second?
Second.
Having a motion and a second, all in favor, raise whichever hand you want. And we are adjourned. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen.